Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush is weighing in on the 2012 Republican presidential field. He sat down today with CNN's Piers Morgan and says there's one candidate catching his eye.
I continue to be impressed with Mitt Romney's performance in these debates. He's cool, calm, collected. He's quick. He's agile. I think he could do well going up against President Obama in the fall. If
he's consistent, isn't he?
He's very consistent and very disciplined, and all the things that you would want in a candidate. And other candidates have moments where they've done extraordinarily well as well. I'm proud of the entire field.
Are you edging towards an endorsement of Mitt Romney? I mean, Chris Christie came out yesterday,
yeah, I saw that.
But he's not insignificant weight behind him. Are you prepared to do this?
Well, I don't have as much weight behind me as Chris Christie, but I'm getting up there. You know, I don't know. I'm going to wait. There's no urgency to this.
Full interview with Piers, by the way, later tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern on Piers Morgan tonight. Let's talk about this and a lot more. Joining us, our CNN contributor, the Democratic strategist, Maria Cardona, and the Republican strategist, Tony Blankley. Certainly sounds to me like Jeb Bush, Tony, is at least hinting that he likes Mitt Romney potentially enough to follow Chris Christie and in the not-too-distant future endorse him.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a surprise, and it reflects what he said about Romney's campaign and performance is true. On the other hand, I think if the Republican elite try to quick walk this race, they're going to get a lot of resistance. I mean, you're watching Kaine come up, and I don't dismiss him. We Washingtonians sometimes tend to dismiss outsiders because they're not part of the Washington crowd. And Newt, my old boss, is moving up in the polls, although he is a Washingtonian. I think that there's some resistance. The question is the 25% that Romney has, is that a floor or a ceiling? And if it's a floor, he's in great shape. If it's a ceiling, then he's got a challenge if somebody can be credible against him. That hasn't quite emerged.
Maria, from the Democratic perspective, what do you think?
I think that Romney has been consistent in terms of how he has done on the debates. But you know what else he's been consistent on? His flip-flops. And it just baffles me how his opponents on that stage last night and on any other debate, and Perry had a terrific opportunity to do this, did not go at him, where he had several sound bites and the latest in 2008 talking about how he would be happy if the model of his health care plan that he passed in Massachusetts would be used as a model for a national health care plan.
But the whole flip-flop thing was a big thing for Romney when he was running 2008. But since 2008, he really has, he may have flip-flopped earlier, but since then he's been pretty consistent on all these issues.
Flip-flopping is the other side of the advantage of experience. If you've been in the business for 20, 30 years, you've taken positions, you've changed positions, it's inevitable. If you're just coming to the game, you come in with whatever the popular positions are at the moment. I mean, he went in with the individual mandate, for instance, on health care back when, in '93, when the Heritage Foundation came out for a time, that was the conservative position against Hillary Care. I think that as the years pass, and as Romney has been now pretty steady in his positions for almost a half a decade, the charge of flip-flop is less effective than it was. It's always there, but it's less effective. I was surprised
about Rick Perry, because Rick Perry, this debate last night was strictly on the economy, strictly on economics. He's coming out with his economic plan later this week, but he could have come out with it earlier, so he would at least have something to point to. Were you surprised he didn't have that economic plan of his announced earlier?
Absolutely. I was surprised that he didn't have that in his back pocket. He could have announced it yesterday. He could have, I think, more effectively announced it this week and then been able to talk about it. It's exactly what Herman Cain has done. Everyone's now today talking about 999. I think Rick Perry really missed a lot of opportunities. I still think the flip-flop thing with Mitt Romney is huge. It really focuses on a politician with zero conviction, and that is important to the American people.
So you believe as far as Rick Perry is concerned, it's basically over for him, or you think he can still come back?
No, I think even though he's got $17 million, which he raised in 49 days, which is impressive, I think it's over for him. And it wasn't just that he missed the opportunity to come out with a plan. He said, oh, I've only been at this for 8 weeks. It's almost like saying I'm not ready to run for president. I mean, it was a terrible thing rhetorically to say. And of course, when it comes to flip-flops in a general election, everybody, including the current incumbent, has changed his positions as they do. So it's less and less of an issue as time progresses.
Herman Cain going anywhere, or is it, you think this is going to be a short-lived honeymoon, if you will?
We'll see. I think it's up to Herman Cain, but last night it was clearly the Romney-Cain show, and Herman Cain, I think, has done a lot. We were talking about this earlier in the green room. Everyone's talking about 999 from a communications perspective. That is a huge win for Herman Cain. I think it all depends on what happens from here on out. But I will say it is very early in the process, And believe me, having worked for Hillary Clinton 4 years ago, it is way too early to say that anybody is the inevitable front runner.
Not over yet by any means. And we
Exactly.
have a debate next Tuesday night
Yes.
in Las Vegas, October 18th, the CNN debate. You're going to want to check that out, 8 p.m. Eastern, only here